Ask the coach.
Hi, this is Tom of Shot Science, and we're here today to recognize Stratocaster for the question that he posed in the Ask the Coach contest. His question was, hey coach, what should the arc of the ball look like? And is there a benefit to a really high arc? How do you get the perfect arc? Well, when we speak about the arc in basketball shooting, one of the things that we need to understand is, number one, how large is the basketball? And number two is, how large is the rim? The men's basketball is 9.5 inches in diameter. Ladies' ball is 9 inches in diameter. The basket on the inside measurement is 18 inches in diameter, so that we know that two of the ladies' balls will go through the basket at the same time. One of the things we want to do when we're speaking about arc is we want to make sure that the ball is going to reach an apex on its arc, or the trajectory toward the basket, of about 3 to 4 feet above the level of the rim. As we talk about the arc, let's talk about an analogy, and that analogy might be this: that if the ball had eyes and it is approaching the basket, if we have a very flat arc, what's going to happen is that the basket takes on an oval shape. That flat arc is typically around 30 degrees, and the usable size of that basket is only about 9 to 9.5 inches in diameter. And so the usable target is very small. As the basketball trajectory begins to elevate, and we get up to that point where the ball is maybe 3 or 4 feet above the level of the basket, we find that this gets more like a 45-degree angle of attack, and that basket now has a usable target area of about 13 inches. And so it's quite a bit larger. The flatter the arc, the more oval shape that the basket becomes. We can make those shots, there's no question about that, but the thing that we want to do is to be able to shoot the basketball at the largest target possible so that our percentage of makes goes really high. And the recommended angle of attack on the arc is somewhere between 45 and 55 degrees. The thing that really is difficult, though, as shooters and players, you don't have time to assess exactly what the angle is, so you kind of have to learn what that angle is. And I would say that one of the things you want to do is try to take and make sure that the very highest part of that arc or trajectory is about 4 feet above the top of the basket. Well, Stratocaster's question about how do we get a higher arc. Well, the shooting arm, as we are releasing the basketball, must elevate from the set point. We want to make sure that the elbow is always elevating to a point where it is above the eyes when we're ready for that release. And this will allow us to get upwards on that arc so that we're closer to the 45 to 50 degree angle. The power for that shot has to come from our core muscles and our leg muscles in order to get that kind of an arc. One of the reasons that shooters shoot flat shots typically is because they are underpowered and they haven't put the power source together to propel the ball at the basket. When we shoot flat shots, what happens is that the rebound that may result from a miss is always a long, flat rebound. one that either goes back to the shooter or it might rebound in the opposite direction. When you shoot a ball with a nice arc, the basketball, when it hits the iron, tends to bound upward and it stays around the basket. When it stays around the basket, you still have an opportunity for that ball to go in the basket. Very key point. Here's the rundown for arc. Number one, you want to make sure that you have a high angle of attack. Number two, we want to avoid flat arcs that just slide over the front rim. Thirdly, we want to make sure that we elevate the elbow. That's how we get that nice high arc. And finally, let's make sure that we use good legs, which results from the use of our core muscles and the leg muscles. So we want to thank Shreddicaster for his question, and we want to take and remind you to submit your questions and comments below, or you can send in a video response. Also, please remember, comment, rate, and subscribe. See you next time. Stay tuned.
Well, Shreddicaster's question about how do we get a higher arc? How do we get a higher arc? Hi, this is Tom with Shot Science, and we're here to... All right. Okay, here we go.